When we talk about gratitudes, we have our gratitudes that we need to be doing for ourselves. But there's also the difference between internal and external gratitudes. And I think during, especially a time like Thanksgiving, going through the holidays, like a big part of what the holidays are is giving gratitude to those that are around us.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Life at 10 Tenths, where we inspire you to live at the pinnacle of your ability and purpose. And happy Thanksgiving to you. As always, I'm Matt Pinelli. He's Garrett Fry, and we are excited to be with you guys today. And we're gonna share, Garrett. This is like our annual tradition since we release episodes on Thursdays. This is the one holiday that we get to hit every single year because it's always on a Thursday, and we get to talk about gratitude today. Good morning, friend. How are you?
I'm good, man. Different than April Fool's Day. We got to wait some time for that one to circle back around. That is actually my favorite one for the episodes to fall on is April Fool's Day. But
that was fun what we did too. That was this year. That was great.
Yeah, that was
you guys
good.
Go back, check our old podcast and go on April 1st and find an absolutely incredible episodes.
It was overwhelming. It was amazing. But for you, we do get to do Thanksgiving with how our time falls and the days that our podcast releases on. And I look forward to this every year. So Matt, we're like, what, 5? How many years have we been doing this together?
So well over 5, because we've launched our first episode in January of 2019. We've actually been kind of recording and getting this going since before then. So we've been doing this, I'd say, 6 years.
And I am more grateful this year for our podcast and what we're doing than any of the years before. Like, it's always been fun. It's always been great. But this is the first year that we're doing our thing and that we're building our own, energy together and building an amazing group of people. And this is one of the more special years that I've ever done the podcast with you.
Yeah, same. And I'm grateful that we're on this journey together, right? And it's a lot of fun to be able to kind of now, not that we couldn't say what we wanted to before. It's like, but now we control everything, right? So we can do whatever we want on this podcast, which is really cool. And I hope that you guys enjoy that as well. And I will say I'm grateful for all the people. When we launched this podcast, we did it pretty darn quick. Happened pretty fast. And I'm really grateful for the people that came right over. They were like, awesome. I'm going to keep the other one in my world as well. And I'm going to still follow Matt and Garrett over here for this journey. And it's been incredible. So I do want to say thank you to everybody who tunes in on a regular basis and for all the people who now watch us on YouTube, Garrett, as well, because that's been really cool getting that going where now people can see us. They can see what's going on when we're actually having these conversations, which is amazing.
Well, and as we've made this transition, and I am also grateful for everybody that had came along in this, and we're still finding people like every day. Matt, you just had a conversation with somebody just yesterday that was like, I didn't know where to find you guys. And she was so grateful just to have the conversation with you and to be like, okay, I know where you're at now. And it's really fun to see as people are starting to figure out that because we did leave pretty quick and we made a transition pretty fast and built this pretty quickly. And we're now, 5 months into it. And it's amazing to watch this thing grow and come to life. And it's funny, I never felt like we were necessarily restricted on what we could say. I felt like we did our thing. We still very much did our thing. The fun part about where we're at now is we get to go and bring, I think, some of our own creativity into this. And we have ideas like doing business planning this year with you, Matt, is like I get to do things in the business planning that I was never able to do before because we were kind of conflicted a little bit about making everything match up. Well, right now, it's been so much fun to be like, oh my gosh, I've had this vision for business planning and what if it was this? And to be on the same page with you and be like, that will make the biggest impact for the people that are going to go through this has been it's just freeing, man. Like there's just an energy that I've been able to have here as we've gone through this of like, oh gosh, it feels good just to move forward here and to create and to be able to build and the people are incredible. Like I'm loving seeing we have this great community that's building out and the faces that we get to see on there, the faces I get to see every Monday morning that show up consistently and are there and putting in time and energy to build their best businesses. I don't know. I kind of pinch myself when we walk away from those meetings, going like, it's just so great to see the same people coming back, showing up. Um, I don't know, man. We could sit here and go probably do this back and forth for hours, but it's just cool, just a
We
fun
could.
time.
Yeah, it is really awesome. And we're going to get into talking about why gratitude is important. And even if you know, it's always good to get a little bit of a refresher, because I feel like no gratitude practice is perfect and we can always improve on it and always just reconnect with why gratitude is powerful. And before we get into it, Garrett, I'll just share too, like we were talking about how we made this transition. So if you're listening and you know there's some other people who like listening to us or you think they get value out of it, if you could share this show with them, that would be amazing, because that's how we reach more people, is through how we all share this among our colleagues and everybody. So if you find value, which if you're here, I assume that you are finding it, please give us a share. We'd really appreciate that. And we love having you guys in our world. So well, Garrett, let's talk a little bit about the power of gratitude, right? And why. I mean, this is a kind of a morning routine ritual that pretty much I think every coaching practice talks about. Like, if you go to any training, any coach, they're going to talk to you about gratitude, which should be a trigger to identify this must be something important that I want to pay attention to.
Well, it's one of the simplest things too, Matt, that so many people just overlook. Like it's like the easiest thing to do. It's not, you don't have to drive yourself to the gym. We're not having to run to the store and buy a whole basket full of food that we're like, okay, I got to figure out how I got my meals all prepped and what we're going to do and how we're going to make all this stuff. It literally is as simple as just sitting back in your chair, closing your eyes and being like, I'm going to put myself into a state of gratitude for about the next minute here. And then being like, that felt great. And I'm going to go back to my day now and move along. Like, it is the simplest thing to do. But we watch people that turn into this monster of like, oh yeah, I haven't done my gratitudes in a long time. I'm like, then what are you letting your brain do? Like, what do you allow it to go down? We just went through an election and I don't want to get in the middle of that too much, but like, you want to watch like people that are running in 10 different directions. And it's like, if we could all just stop for a second, and there are things always to be grateful for, no matter where you stand in this situation, there's always a place you can come back to and say, what are the things that I'm grateful for in the surrounding around me right now? No matter how bad it is, no matter how crazy it is, what can I ground myself with? And I think, Matt, it's like, it's amazing how much discipline it takes to take that 1 minute.
Yeah, it really is, because and maybe it's a culture thing. Like we're go, go, go. There's these other things that are in front of us. You know, typically you don't wake up and there's someone standing in front of you saying, let's get to our gratitudes, right? But I remember hearing someone say, like, what if you woke up tomorrow with only the things that you are grateful for today, right? Or what if you woke up today with only the things you were grateful for yesterday? And you start to look around and you're like, well, there's a lot of things that I'd still want in my world that I probably haven't, expressed gratitude for. And now, do you need to take the time to go down to every little detail? Like, I'm so grateful for this pen. I'm so grateful for this cup. I'm so grateful for maybe you do, right? How long does it really take to do that stuff? And it's not necessarily, Garrett, the act of just stating things. I think it's also feeling it and having it become part of your energy. As Dr. Joe Dispenza says, gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership, which means gratitude isn't necessarily something that we do. It's who we are and how we can be, which can create an incredible energy of attraction, which, I mean, Garrett, I know you're like one of you have a great personality. You're very positive a lot of the times, and you practice a lot of gratitude. And when you show up in locations, people like to gather around you, I feel anyway, because you're always grateful to be where you are. And it's not necessarily that you're just saying, hey, I'm grateful to be here. You could just feel it coming through you.
Was that a question?
No, this is a statement that I want you to comment on.
I was lucky to be born into a household that it was something that was trained into me. My dad was a NLP background, did a lot of work with Stephen Covey. He was a Pacific Institute trainer, a senior Pacific Institute trainer with Lou Tice up in the Seattle area. Obviously did a lot of work with Larry Kendall. And really in my younger years, Larry Kendall wasn't so much part of it. My dad met him when I was probably about 18 years old. So in the younger years, uh, I had it basically every night. It was put in front of us about we create the world around us that we want to create. We have control over our energy that we want to create, and I'm not perfect at it. I believe me, I go through waves and cycles, and I think that there's a lot of times that people go, oh, like when you find yourself in a negative cycle, it's like, like I don't have the control that maybe someone like may look at me and go, God, Garrett's always got that great energy and he's always got that great. It takes work. Like it is something that I put time and energy into every day and every week. And I have breathing exercises I do. And I've got an ADHD brain that will run down crazy tangents that will take me in the mud if I'm not careful. And maybe that's one of the reasons, Matt, that I've taken all these tools that I have over all these years and been like, it's really important that I do this all the time. And you talked about like, I'm grateful for this cup, I'm grateful for this pen. But when you were saying it, I was thinking about there was a moment for all of us that you left home, you moved into your own place for the first time. And there was something that you were grateful about opening your door to your house for the first time. Even maybe you were renting, but it's yours. This is your environment. This is your space. This is my carpet I get to live in. This is my kitchen. Oh my gosh. And you stand there and you kind of take it all in. And there was that time that it's like, this is my first dish. Like I have dishes in the cupboard, like, woo, like, and these are my forks, like these are my stuff. Like we do go through these phases as we mature and we grow as people. And there's so much stuff that we do take for granted. And we do sit back and say, well, of course I got a cup. Everybody's got a cup. I would beg to differ. I don't think everybody has their set of dishes in the cupboard right now and has their own sets of silverware. And speaking of that, we were just talking about this, Matt. I'm going to be grateful for my new set of silverware that I'm going to be getting very soon because we had the same set of silverware as when we got married. That was in 2001. Same dishes, by the way, too, that we got at our wedding. Same dishes. And when you have three children, I don't know what they do with the forks. The forks are the ones that go away the fastest. We're missing a whole half of our set of forks right now. I will be grateful when I get a new set of silverware coming up here. But I think it's like we lose sight of some of the little stuff. And so I do think it's important sometimes to go back to the little things that we need to be grateful for. And then some of the really big stuff that we can easily take for granted.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think this is where when you do your gratitude practice, it's not I don't look at it as a mission of like, let me get through as many things as possible. It's how do I, make sure that becomes just a part of my entire day as well. It's like, it's great to wake up in the morning and say, here are the things that I'm grateful for. It's another thing to act with gratitude with the things that we have, right? And I think we can do that through also just how do we take care of the things that we do have, right? How do we take care of ourselves? How do we take care of our relationships? And I think there's a lot of power in sharing gratitude with people. And just to simply, man, I'm so glad that you're in my world today, right? Or sharing gratitude through a hug. Doesn't even have to be verbal, right? There's so many different ways to be gratitude that we don't focus on those things. We just focus on doing. And it's like, well, if we focus on the being, the gratitude's probably going to be there.
If you're going to do it through a hug, make sure you hold it the extra 2 seconds. That makes it awkward and weird.
Just get that little extra transfer that comes in, right?
I just can't let go. I can't let go. I'm so
gratitude for Garrett, from a business standpoint, we see gratitude also work really well here too, right?
Well, in coaching, we see this. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been on a coaching call with somebody, Matt, and they are in a place of, I don't understand why this isn't working. I'm doing all the right stuff. I've got all this, and you can just tell they are not in a state of gratitude. There's just this energy that's surrounding them that's just like, oh my gosh, you are pushing people away. And I feel like that's when we talk about being in an attracting mode, one of the best things you can do to put yourself into attracting mode is to put yourself into a state of gratitude, because that is it is an attractive energy that's coming off you when you are in a state of gratitude. And so more often than not, when I find myself working with somebody who's in that space, it's like, okay, let's forget all this other stuff. We forget all how many people you're talking to, how many notes you're writing, how many got it. I love that you have a postcard campaign going. Great. Let's come back for a second though, and let's get yourself centered because we talk about take care of yourself first. If you want to, your physical health, we always say there's a difference in when you're taking care of your physical health and what you can give to those that are around you. And this is like taking care of your mental health. It's like this is a mental health exercise to say, what am I going to do to put myself in the best energy possible? And Matt, you and I will call each other out every once in a while. There was a
Oh yeah.
podcast a while back where I'm like, dude, you need to go away and come back when your energy's fixed.
And what I did is I went away and worked on some gratitude so that I could come back and have the right energy because I wasn't in the right state. I was not in a state of gratitude. I was in a state of frustration and upset and
That was a while
whatever.
back. That was
Yep.
about maybe a year and a half ago or something like that. That was funny.
Yeah, but it is a great example of the power. And I think today, Thanksgiving, right? It's kind of one of those holidays where hopefully you guys are spending a lot of gratitude instead of being like, man, I'm with my uncle and I don't want to be around, but at least football's on the TV. Great. Be grateful for the football. Right. And I think I called November Garrett Gratitude Month, as you know, and our good friend Tona Rustine does these daily videos of talking about something she's grateful for every single day and posts them on social media. I try to follow with her trend a little bit in my Instagram stories, but if we use this month and this day as a catalyst to develop this practice of gratitude and make it something that it's not just, hey, I'm going to do it in the morning. It's going to interweave into your entire day and carry it with you. Like it shouldn't just happen in November, but this is a great kind of like landmark to help you then develop that practice, I think, anyway.
Yeah, if you don't follow Tona Rustine, I recommend you do follow. I actually had to send her I made a personal phone call. She's a good friend of mine, but I had to personally reach out to her about 3 months ago because she made a post, very simple post, that it was one of the things that like completely changed my energy. I was in a really weird spot, having a really rough day. And I remember I woke up, opened up social media, and sure enough, there's Tona and this message. And I was like, God, that's what I needed to hear today. Like she just has a way of putting these little messages out that's like, that's what I'm going to focus on for today. That's what I needed to hear. And I think that, when we talk about gratitudes, we have our gratitudes that we need to be doing for ourselves. But there's also the difference between internal and external gratitudes. And I think during especially a time like Thanksgiving, going through the holidays, like a big part of what the holidays are is giving gratitude to those that are around us and celebrating these amazing relationships and these amazing people. And I know there's a point that we're all like, oh, another holiday party I got to go to. Okay, got it. But I mean, really, like there are people that would be grateful to be invited to a holiday party. There's a whole lot of people out there. We hang around a lot of social people and a lot of business. There's a lot of people in your close society, close city, neighborhood that will not get invited to a holiday party this year. It will not happen. And they would love just to get a chance to go and be part of a holiday party. So I think there's so much that we have this ability of slowing down, acknowledging what's around us. And I would encourage everybody, as I said, it's a very easy thing to do. It's a very easy thing not to do. I would love to hear what your rituals are that you have, if you do have a ritual for doing gratitudes. I have an alarm on my phone that actually says gratitudes on it. It's funny, I've noticed I haven't been using it lately. I haven't needed that. It's just been kind of like, it's an alarm that's there, but I haven't had it set. But I typically wake up every morning and my whole thing is before I put my feet on the ground, I need to say everything that I'm grateful for. It's just kind of my world that I get myself into. And then there's usually a couple times throughout the day, and definitely when I'm going to bed, I just kind of end my day with going, what are the great things that happened to me today in my world? I know for a fact that I can instantly change my energy. Instantly. If I choose to, I can instantly change it. I can be having the nastiest of days, irritated, feisty. I had a moment the other day where I walked in and my family, like all together, was like, "What's wrong with Dad?" Like, I was I was firing on a whole bunch of other stuff. And I had to walk away for a second, realizing the energy that was coming off me. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to sit down for a second and kind of regroup and recalibrate and go through some gratitudes and recenter myself. And it's that easy to be able to do, but you have to acknowledge it and take action on it. And that's my process with it that I use daily.
I love it, man. Well, I'm gonna challenge everybody. Hey, if you're watching this on YouTube, drop a comment below of what you're grateful for, and share your gratitude practice if you want to share that too. But give us a comment of just something that you're grateful for today, whenever you are seeing this. And if you're listening on an audio platform, I challenge you to go over to YouTube where we are. Just look for Life at 10 Tenths on YouTube. We'll pop up and go to this episode and drop what you're grateful for. Share it. There's a power in also just putting that gratitude out there and other people even seeing those gratitudes, because it encourages them to practice that gratitude. And if we all are in a state of gratitude, imagine what we can attract together. So that would be my challenge for people, is to drop that comment. What are you grateful for? And don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done that already as well.
Well, Matt, is there anything else you want to share about gratitude? I'm grateful for you, man. I appreciate you.
Same here, man. I'm grateful for you and for Sarah. Love working with you guys. And so I appreciate you guys. Yeah, I mean, I could go on this for hours, but it's Thanksgiving. Let people get to their turkey and football and get to their gratitude, right?
So to wrap this up, we both, Matt and I, are grateful for all of you out there who show up and listen. And Matt and I, a lot of people don't know this, but the podcast for us, we really do because we love it. We don't get paid to show up and to record these episodes and to put this time together. So if this is something that you find a lot of value in, the best thing you can do for us is to, as Matt just said, if you're on YouTube, subscribe to that. If you are on another platform, Spotify, Apple Podcast, subscribe to our podcast, share our episodes, like and comment on them. It helps it get out to more people. And really, that's our thing. Our number one passion with this is to help as many people as we possibly can be the best they possibly can. And you are a lot of the vehicle that's going to help us to get there. So we're grateful. We're thankful for you. And if you ever need anything, you know where to find Matt and I. So thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.